Ortiz versus Cody was a cracking match.
Yeah.
It was like, wasn't on the level of like Cody Sammy, but Cody's just a master at working with someone else, still looking great himself, but making the other person also look awesome.
Yeah, and I love him coming out with Brandy and Arn. I really like the Nightmare Family seems to make so much more sense now that the collective stuff is done and dusted. But yes, I really like the Nightmare Family stuff. It's funny actually, when I was listening to Gorilla Position reviewing Revolution, they hated the Cody coming out with so many people. They thought it felt like a really sort of big-headed thing, just like, look how many mates I've got.
It's a boxing entourage.
That was my argument as well. But I like that. I like the fact they've got this, particularly then because you've got with like Ortiz has got Santana in his corner, and during the six-man tag later on, you've got the Bunny out there and Wardlow out there, and it's just like people have got their sort of like little mini factions. I really like that.
It augments the featured act, I think. Speaking of acts, it wasn't just these guys in and around the ring, because Jake the Snake walks through the crowd with Lance Archer.
Yeah, Murder Hawk himself.
So it is Lance Archer.
It is Lance Archer.
They announced 2 weeks ago that it's Lance Archer. Last week, Jake said, I've got a client. It's the same guy.
Yeah.
I liked all this. I just thought that, you know, if you zoom out and you look at the last 3 weeks, it's a bit like, oh, why don't you...
Well,
there's a bit of a disconnect
I wonder if he was meant to debut last week. In fact, I'm almost certain now that he was meant to debut last week.
Why didn't he then?
There was a report. I can't remember what the report was now as why he couldn't make it. Someone will be able to let us know in the chat. I'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, there was... Because there has been a bit of a disconnect with it, but I've also seen mixed opinions on this. Because I quite liked this.
I thought them as an act looked really cool.
But I mean just the actual debut of someone. Because I've seen someone, Trevor Dame, who's an excellent Twitter personality you should definitely follow, called it a wet fart of a debut.
Well, it's a bit harsh, I think.
Whereas I thought it's actually quite good because it's way different to all the other debuts they've done. Like AEW had the same pattern for all of their debuts, which is someone comes in and does a big attack on someone, and then they pose, and then they go, "Oh my God, it's X, Y, and Z." So I actually just have Jake come out with Lance, and they just go over, they just sit down in the chair, they look over, and they're just watching Cody. Jake's giving him his advice, saying, "Look, this is what he's doing over there. This is the reason why he's doing this." And then at one point, Lance Archer getting up to step into a fight, and Jake being like, "Now's not the time, man. Sit back in your chair." So he sits back in his chair, and then afterwards, Jake's like, "We've seen enough. Let's go." I thought it was actually really effective.
Yeah, and Lance Archer is a big name, former New Japan guy. He's, I think he won Most Improved last year in the Wrestling Observer Awards. Fantastic wrestler, but realistically, he doesn't have that mainstream name value, even to an AEW audience, where you can debut him as, "Oh, and here is the big debut, boom, here he is." It's like, because people will just go, "Oh, who's that?"
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it just doesn't have the recognition. This way takes the pressure off, and you don't have that sort of underwhelming part.
You don't have the butcher and blade.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. It's Lance Archer. And JR's, who?
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a good match. Little bit of interference on the outside. And Cody tapped out Ortiz in the figure 4. I like that as his submission.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good as well, actually. I thought it was really smart as well. They worked over the leg to set that up, and Ortiz then tapped out to it. And as I said at the start of the show, sets up your blood and guts finish, not like, telegraphing the finish, but puts over the fact that that match can only end in submission or surrender, which is what War Games always used to be before WWE changed it. And yeah, I think that's quite a nice thing to do. That shows that Cody and Arn have been working together to work on some submissions, because now you need to have a submission game going into this.
Yeah, really like it. And then there was the beatdown angle of Nick Jackson backstage, which was very realistic.